You've got a difficult job because I challenge you in these 15 minutes to really convince me that meditation is something I need in my life.
Okay.
I'm not really bought into the idea, I have to say. I can imagine sitting cross-legged and I'm not feeling it. So maybe we can just start by, what's the objective of meditating?
To put it very briefly, the objective of meditation is to have a little bit more space before you react. So something happens and then we go into that automatic reaction. And usually it's unconscious, it's just bang. And
we're very reactive as human beings, aren't we?
Yes.
But I mean, just explain to me, because I'm sort of picturing now that someone does something I don't like, I want to react. Typically it's my children. What do I do? Quickly sit down cross-legged and breathe it out? Or how do I get to this point where I'm slower in my reaction?
Well, actually with meditation, hopefully it is a practice. So hopefully with time, you start to realize the certain thought patterns that you have and that you fall into. And next time your child does something, or maybe you just catch yourself a little bit earlier before it ends up to be like this big mess. And it is a little bit contained before, and it's just a little mess, maybe.
Now, in the workplace, this is highly valuable, I guess, for many reasons. For any run-ins you may or may not have with colleagues and superiors, any conflict, you could overcome this if you have this slower reactive, time, space that you call it. So is this something we should be doing daily, and how often and for how long?
That's a good question. I mean, I try not to pressure people too much and say, oh, you have to at least meditate 10 minutes a day. But it is important to do it on a regular basis. And then we have all these excuses, right? We say, oh, no, I don't have 5 minutes of time because of this, that, and the other. But in fact, we do have like 1 or 2 minutes to spare. We just put our phone to the side, and it's as easy as become conscious and aware of your breath and your breathing. So it doesn't take like flexible hips and go into that cross-legged posture, or I don't know, amazing body strength or something.
So really I could be sitting on the tram and practicing deep breathing.
You can just wait for the bus, or you can sit on the tram, and instead of scrolling down your Facebook, maybe you just take a few deep breaths and start to be aware of what is actually happening inside of your mind and inside of your body, instead of always being distracted and trying to, I don't know, keep yourself busy.
So just explain to me, you do a lot of meditation, give a lot of meditation classes in the corporate world. Is this something the employer is enforcing in terms of, what does the employer want to get out of this by having meditation courses over lunch, for example?
Over lunch, I think it's a really good time because it's sort of in the middle of the day, and it just refreshes the mind and the body. So when we go back to work, instead of just having had that heavy lunch and being actually drained and exhausted, when you come back in the afternoon, you are refreshed, and it's almost like a new getting up. So it's almost like you took a little bit of a nap, although you did move and you were very active, but you had some time to rest. And then when you come back to work in the afternoon, you are refreshed in your thoughts, but also in your body.
So just give me a sample of what one of these exercises could look like in a meditation course over lunch when I've just left my desk.
It depends if it's in a group setting or if you just go and do a little bit of meditation by yourself. But what I would suggest is that you do the meditation that is easiest for you. So don't do the hardest possible meditation, but an easy version.
So let's try it. I close my eyes.
Yes.
Talk me through it.
You close your eyes, and maybe it helps to bring your hands to your belly. So you just, feel your body actually. And now when you breathe, try and breathe into your hands and just feel your belly, how it rises as you inhale. And then again, as you exhale, it relaxes. And you just do a couple of breaths like this. And you will notice that just your whole body, but also your nervous system, it starts to calm down.
Oh, I just had a thought there about what I want to make for dinner. Is that okay?
That is totally okay. That is very, very normal.
So I can think about that alongside my breathing.
Yes, actually, we are getting more creative because usually we're so caught up in our thought patterns that I don't know, creativity or the really good ideas don't really have space because we're so caught up in our thinking. So once we actually just calm down, the good ideas can come to light.
I always thought it
that's
would be
a
nice
thing.
to just be able to switch off all those crazy thoughts that we have that are non-stop. They run through our mind like crazy. But it's not really about achieving or stopping those thoughts or the thought flow.
I'd say that's very unrealistic because we're just, we do have a mind. So it is natural for us to think. And to then want it to go to a state where we're not thinking, that's very unnatural. So thinking will always happen. But the goal is to make it more conscious. And so it is less overwhelming because sometimes it's just overwhelming the amount of thoughts that we have and we don't see things clearly anymore. So when you start to work with your thoughts, it's like training a muscle. You also just start to have more clarity and more space in between the thoughts and you just feel better overall.
And tell me about some of the other benefits. Clearly for the employer, that hopefully the employee is more productive after lunch or after the meditating, but the longer term benefits, because we all get a bit sort of, I think posture plays a role because we sit down a lot, and does it sort of prevent some sort of, disease, or does it make our lives longer?
I think it does help in prevention, so preventing of chronic injuries or just, we get into habits of, sitting in the chair like this or just being very comfortable in our postures. And if we think about how long we sit every day and 8, 10 hours, maybe even longer. And then if we repeat that over years, it will have an effect on our body and on our health. So I think it is very important to bring that awareness back into our body and to feel, just be more aware. It comes always back to this sense of awareness. And what I also see is that most of us are very disconnected from the body. So we live in our heads, and it's almost like, it ends here. And just to, again, have that connection, symptoms or just injuries or illnesses, we can actually detect them a lot earlier. And we can also start to listen what our body needs a lot better than if we're so disconnected.
Because we do spend a lot of time thinking about physical exercise and nutrition, but perhaps not enough time on the breath. Does it matter how we breathe?
It doesn't really, because breathing is very interesting. It can happen naturally, just without you actually thinking about it, but you can also influence it. So that makes it interesting for you to start to make it longer and deeper, because usually we have the habit of just breathing very shallowly up here. And then when we're in a stressful situation, the breath that actually calms us down and makes us grounded or gives us a sense of grounding in that moment is the breath that sort of goes into the belly, and we just feel a lot clearer. We make a lot better decisions if we have a deep breath instead of just being up here and then being close to a panic attack.
For someone very senior in a highly pressurized environment, maybe has to give a presentation, make decisions, maybe has an element of anxiety, if not a panic attack, you think this deep breath could help calm such situations?
Definitely, definitely. Just if we have, usually we don't, in those stressful situations, we then don't remember. So that's why we train for it. That's why we practice it. And we practice it when we're not in a stressful situation. So when the stressful situation comes, we just get we start to breathe deeper because we actually know that it makes us feel better.
It becomes automatic.
But it becomes, more of an automatic
and what about
habit.
Sleeping? Either getting to sleep, or maybe you wake up in the middle of the night and you have one of those white nights and you're just looking at the ceiling and it's like hours are passing but you can't get back to sleep. Could this help?
Definitely. Also because, again, you're so much in your thoughts and in your mind, and it goes on and on and on and on. And to bring the attention out of your mind and into your body can also bring the signal to the body that it's time to fall asleep and it's no longer time to think and plan and organize. But just drop the awareness literally into your body, away from your mind, helps. And that's why, again, deep breathing, it sounds so simple, but it's really one of the key elements, helps.
And do you have to do it listening to the sound of waves crashing or to your beautiful voice?
No, there's really, that's the best thing about it. It's always there, it's always accessible for you. So you can just start to breathe consciously, notice when the breath flows in and when it goes out. And that's basically it. Obviously, you can do lots of fancy other things, but I think we should keep it very simple so that we actually do the practices.
And is it self-taught? Do you necessarily need a teacher? Can you just sit down or stand up and do it?
I think so. You can start, wherever you are and just start to breathe consciously and to then become aware what is happening in your mind, what is happening in your body, and become your own experiment, kind of, start to investigate, very interested in what is going on in your body. But then if you want to go one step further, it definitely helps to go to a teacher. Yeah.
And of course, what happens is we get so busy and time sort of runs away with us, and we never really invest those minutes in ourselves. The day just passes. So I guess it's also about being disciplined to try and get it into your daily life, your routine.
Yes, and again, I think we are we work so much on our discipline. It is nice when the employer actually provides such a space or such a time for you, so that it becomes just almost like you don't have to discipline yourself. It is there. You can go. Maybe it's even mandatory to just do the 20 minutes of meditation in your lunch break.
It's not a lot
and you
out
just
of your
have
working
to do
day,
it.
is it really?
No, I mean, it takes as little as 10 to 20 minutes, and it just really makes a difference.
It goes in the direction, I guess, of, just having a quick nap, a power nap.
Yeah.
You're not quite asleep, but you try to disconnect for those minutes. Are you seeing any trends? Are more and more corporates catching on to this idea?
Yes, I definitely see an awareness rising. Actually, the trends always come not from Switzerland particularly, but I see a lot of companies ask me to do yoga, but also more and more meditation and mindfulness, because they know there's something about it that will make a difference and help.
And why do you think these trends aren't, or the innovation isn't happening in Switzerland? Because we do have a lot of cases of burnout. So I guess it could be quite useful to prevent a burnout.
It definitely is. And I think that trend also makes us think that we need to find new ways or new solutions to an ever-rising problem. And we start to look at what other people are doing, and we're looking for different answers. And then that's an answer we find that, just working with our mind, that just gets overwhelmed and almost like heated up, and like the burnout is too much heat. So actually cool down and find more relaxation.
You're starting to convince me. How do you convince maybe a harder case like some of the men out there that say, I'm not going to do that?
The most difficult thing is to convince by arguing, because the other person will definitely always have better arguments, but you just have to do it.
Try it.
So
just
I need to get
once.
you to do it, and then you decide for yourself if it was helpful or not. But mostly, once you've done meditation or mindfulness practices a few times, you will notice instant benefits. And I don't need to convince you, actually.
You told me something interesting before we started our dialogue here about the nostrils, left and right, and how that affects different parts of the mind. Maybe you can just explain that to me again.
Yeah, so actually when you focus on your breathing, you will notice that in any given situation, you breathe either more through the right or more through the left nostril. And that has a direct impact on which brain hemisphere is active in that moment. And so imagine if we could start to work with our breath so much so that we can guide our breath more towards one nostril and open or activate the other brain hemisphere, it could actually, make us a lot more
the
productive.
Creative part of my brain.
Yes, that we are creative in the times we need to be creative, and we are very strategic in the times we need to be strategic. So to actually be able to start to control that is definitely a side effect or a side benefit.
Do you think we invest enough, let's say in the Swiss school system with the younger children, that they are sort of making this part of their well-being and their education from a young age?
I think we just need to give it a little bit more time. I'm pretty sure it will be coming because, yes, already so many adults see the positive effects, and it could be amazing if we could teach that to our children so that they don't have to learn by experiencing any very difficult situation, but could learn from a young age how to prevent any,
Absolutely, thank you. And I'm very much looking forward to your at the desk pop-up quick course on how to sort of just, be more relaxed and flexible and, more focused on the breath and, disconnect from the brain and the thoughts. Thank you very much. That's perfect.
Thank you.